Hi, I'm Matt.
And I'm Tom.
And this is the Park Bench.
In hay fever spectacular.
Oh, yes, we're sitting on grass. The grass is nearer to our face than it normally is.
There's actually several benches freed up now, but we're set up here, so...
They're all near paths. We'll be in people's way.
Yes. I just got a load of...
rained on by
just
the
got
tree.
rained pollen on as that happened. Last time we did a Q&A, 3 separate people asked us for board games and tabletop games. Go ahead. Start.
Hi. You still with us? Or do you just want to... Do you want some? Give us some more sibilants?
Just go. Just go.
Sushi Go.
Yes.
A friend of mine has that game. It's good. It's a card game, but it's not that kind of card game. It's just a game that happens to be made out of bits of card. And you sort of collect things, and each thing is worth different things, and they have...
Yeah.
And you and your...
The mechanic being you have a hand, you take a card to keep, and then you pass the hand around the table. So,
you described that much better than I did.
Yeah. The point being that by the time you pass the hands around a couple of times, you know what other people are aiming for, you can start doing advanced strategy.
And if you're playing with more than one other person, it can get quite hard to...
Yes.
The best way to do tactics is to remember what's in the hand and in all of the hands, so you know what you're about to get and what they're about to get.
It's my ideal kind of game because you can explain the rules in 5 minutes, and while there is an advantage to having played before, it's not an overwhelming advantage.
And you can pick it up within one go, one round.
This is why I despise Dominion as a game, which is that same kind of...
That's that really confusing one.
It's a really confusing, massive deck building game, and it takes so long to explain all the potential consequences. That, I can see why people like it. I prefer quick party games. On that note, there is an expansion to Sushi Go called Sushi Go Party, which adds a whole load of complicated rules. I have only seen it played on the other side of a room, but if Sushi Go is getting too simple for you, there is now an expansion pack that works for up to 8 players, I think.
Cool. On the cards collecting thing spectrum, Exploding Kittens is actually quite good.
I don't like it.
I have only played it with a massive group. And there are about 8 of us.
I do not like it because I think the mechanic is... It has the same... So I previously opined that I strongly dislike Munchkin and Flux.
Yes.
For the reason that it is all decided at the end.
I suppose, yeah.
For Munchkin, it's a war of attrition. Whoever happens to be playing when everyone else runs out of cards happens to win. For Flux, it's whoever happens to have the right things when everyone else runs out of cards. Yeah. And for Exploding Kittens, it's the same. It's whoever happens to be playing when everyone else runs out of cards.
I suppose, yeah, and for the people that are let's say, losing, you can sit around and do nothing for a while, I suppose. Yeah.
Sorry to immediately...
We had fun doing it at New Year's because we were playing it and chatting at the same time and drinking at the same time.
Yeah, there's a lot to be said for that.
The people that weren't playing could think about drinking.
Yes.
And talking. And, yeah, it was multiple conversations while the game was also happening because there were loads of it.
I played a wonderful game for the first time yesterday as we record this. So I'm gonna plug this. It is called Captain Sonar.
Ping.
Yeah, that happens. It is... so first of all, if you want to play it properly, it requires 8 people.
Wow.
Yeah, and no more than 8. Like, you can do it with 6 or 7, but you kind of need people who've played before. Ideally, you need 8 people, 2 of which have played before, so you can explain the game and have even teams. But it's possible to do. You have 2 teams of 4. You are sat on opposite sides of a table, divided by a big cardboard divider.
Right.
One of you is the captain, who steers the submarine. One is the first mate, who keeps track of what systems are available and where you're sending power to. One is the engineer, whose job it is to keep those systems running, because every time you move, you have to take something offline, and then you have to work to get it going again. And one is the radio operator, whose job it is to listen only to what the opposing team's captain is shouting about north, south, east, and west, and work out on the map where it must be, because there are islands in the way. And then you have to get close to each other and fire a torpedo. Okay? So this is all... It's complicated, but what makes it for me is that it's real time. There are no turns. You take turns as fast as your captain can start shouting directions.
Oh, right.
But if the captain starts shouting directions too fast and doesn't check with everyone, the engineer might suddenly go, we just blew up. Or, we just lost weapons for the next 5 minutes.
Right, okay.
So it is real time. There is an advantage to having played before, But it also descends into that kind of wonderful chaos where someone will go, firing a torpedo, and someone else on the same team will shout out, we can't! If you've played Space Team on the phone, it's kind of like a wonderful version of that, only a bit more complicated, and it was a lot of fun.
It sounds sort of like some kind of bastard battleship.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Bastard shit.
Doesn't quite work, does it?
No.
Settlers of Catan.
Yeah, it's a classic, but it works.
Yeah.
Like, if you want to introduce your family to something that's like Monopoly but won't result in entirely seething family resentment, Settlers of Catan's the one to go for.
And you can say amazing things like, does anyone want to swap some rocks for some sheep?
Yes. Yes, I think that's technically meant to be wool, but everyone says sheep.
Oh, yeah. Trying to play it with someone new who's just read the rules, and you, who says it by what the pictures on the cards look like rather than what the...
Also, House Rule the Robber is called the Owl.
I forgot that one.
Yeah.
There's a game, I don't know what it's called, you might know it, you might be able to help me call it. We used to play it in York and it was called the Squiggly Line Game, but there's an actual printed version of it.
No idea. Something to do with Celtic knots, but I don't know what the game is.
It's a
load of tiles.
A load of tiles and that have paths from one into the other, or each side of the tile, so there are 4 sides, each has 2 entrance-exit points. And the line on the tile shows you which way to go.
Yep.
And you keep drawing from a deck and it puts it down and you crash into each other or die or get to the other side.
Yep.
I enjoyed it. It's really quick. But I don't know what it's called.
Niagara. I've played that recently. Niagara is a lovely game designed for all ages in that wonderful sense that you can explain the rules in like 5 minutes. And if kids will go, okay, I can move here. Oh, I can do that. And adults will go, hang on, if I move there and you do that, and then I make that thing, I can really screw you over. And the gimmick of it is that you are in canoes on a river, but the river is made of transparent plastic discs. And every turn, a disc comes in at the top of the river and falls off at the bottom. Or maybe multiple discs will come in at the top and fall off at the bottom. If your canoe is on one of those discs being pushed down the river and it falls off, bye-bye canoe. And it's really, really nice. It's got a gimmick, it's got rules you can explain in 5 minutes, and it's just nice to play.
Cool.
I think that's all the immediate recommendations I've got.
I'd say this is an honourable mention because it's not really a tabletop game because it's half computer. Keep talking and no one explodes.
I played that for the first time this week. Yes.
It is played out loud. One person has a computer in front of them, or VR if you're feeling fancy, and you've got a bomb with a computer-generated bomb. The bomb can have one of many different firing mechanisms, or it's puzzles to solve so you don't explode.
Yeah.
But you have no idea what to do with any of these things, and the people on the other side of the room to you have the instruction manual, and you can have it as an actual printed instruction manual. So you have to say, there's the red wire, the blue wire, the green stripy wire.
You are that person in a movie with a voice connected to the internet in your ear, going, "What do I do? Which wire do I cut?" And they're like, "Is there 3 wires? Is there 3 wires on the bottom?" "No, there's 4. Are any of them green?" "Yes." "Cut the second one." And I genuinely had a moment where the person next to me hadn't read the instructions all the way through and said, "It's fine. Okay, cut." It was press the blue button, and I suddenly went, "No!" At the exact moment they pressed the blue button, the bomb exploded.
And it's not just cutting wires. There are a lot of really
devious
to make it hard for the people reading the instructions. The instructions can get quite complicated.
Yes.
But to make it hard for the person that's holding the bomb, there are so many things that are ambiguous, like homonyms.
There's a Who's On First module where some of the options of words you have to get from within your VR headset or from your computer screen to the people are your, Y-O-U-R, your, Y-O-U apostrophe R-E, the letters U and R,
and the words you and the word are. And I think it's got me and you, so when you're talking to me and you...
Oh, it's also got yes,
As to spelt 2 different ways.
Yeah. And the word spelt a couple of different ways, so if you hesitate, that's... So yeah, that's some game recommendations. And of course, there are a load of Amazon affiliate links in the bottom.
Hey.
Because, well, I think we'll have declared that in the description anyway, it'll be fine. Yeah. So there you go. Board games.
Yeah.
turns out we have content. We have things we enjoy, Matt.
And if you don't want to buy all of these games to try them, there are board game cafes popping up all over the country. There's one called Drafts in London that I've been to before.
It's easier, obviously, for them to open not in London because London rent is extortionate.
Yeah.
But yeah, have a look and see if there's one near you.
I think a lot of them have some kind of basic small entry fee just to cover their costs.
Yeah, because it turns out having people sit for and have 2 drinks over 5 hours is not a great business model.
Very good fun though.
Yeah, there you go. Enjoy some board games. I can see exactly where I am because of the buttock-shaped dimple just there.
Buttock-shaped dimple.
Which incidentally is the title of my new album.